to answer in a particular way? Like, do you want me to almost answer with the question?
Fuck knows. Keep that in.
Is it already rolling?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So we try and just get it to roll. So then, so when we first started doing it, the conversations, I don't know, we just felt like when we was asking that first question, everyone's back was up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and then when you just go into conversation from the start and we're just talking, like someone might sit down. Do you know the conversations you just have out there?
Yeah.
We want them on the podcast. So we just try and do it. So we're just having those conversations now.
Yeah.
And then, we just then ask the other questions further down the line. But I'm making this up as I go along anyway. So, but yeah, it's going to be an awkward one, isn't it? I've already noticed I keep smiling and laughing and I shouldn't do. I'm supposed to be being serious.
We're just a bit fun with it.
Yeah. It's weird interviewing someone you know.
Is it?
Yeah.
You always say like, okay, so who are you?
Yeah. Who are you? I already know you.
Yeah. It's like Stephen Bartlett. He always starts with, so what do I need to know about your earlier years?
Yeah. That's what I was really conscious of with this podcast. Like I didn't want it to be, like I know people end up on touch points of the younger self.
Yeah.
But I don't want it to be a life story. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I just want it to be business. Like
genuine business.
Yeah. What are your
bit
problems?
Humor.
Yeah. Because I'm funny.
Yeah. Funny looking.
So like, what are your problems? We'll start there. What's your biggest problem in your business?
Biggest problem? I mean, where do I start?
Well, we've only got 27 minutes apparently. So
what's interesting though is problems now are different than last year, and last year was different than the year before. Mm-hmm. I think we're in quite an exciting period of time at the moment where we're growing quite nicely and we're getting really decent clients on. We're getting a lot of interest, and the work that we're putting out is just getting better and better and better. And I think we're getting noticed for it. I think at the moment, and it's a very good problem to have, is there is almost too much interest, and I've got to filter out, or the team's got to filter out which ones are the right clients, which ones are the wrong client, because they can be very easily chasing just everything, and then fall into a place where it becomes quite a lot of effort, a lot of hard work in chasing, or we just know that the client fit isn't perfect. And over the last 7 years of doing this, I've become quite good at understanding which is, firstly, people that we want to be working with. Do we like them? Do we think that we can actually deliver a service for them that they will help them to grow? Because I'm not really interested in just taking anyone for the sake of it. I genuinely want to work with clients who are going to be producing results, going to be putting the work in, delivering a good service within their own business, doing some good, because we're obviously property based, doing some great developments, maybe acquiring to deliver HMOs, scaling up their portfolio. And I want to work with those guys who are actually going to be around for the next 5, 10, 15 years, rather than someone that's just come off a course and, is keen to chase that shiny penny.
Yeah.
So, it's about filtering the right clients, making sure that we're not going to just work with someone who is interested and ready to go, but actually someone that is going to be better for the business that we can partner with.
Yeah.
Because that's really what I want to be focusing on is clients that we call partners, so we can be there to support their growth, and they see us as their dedicated marketing partner. But also people that we like and get on with.
Yeah.
Because that just makes life a lot easier and more fun.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think I've definitely fallen into the trap, and I think every business owner has, where they chase the revenue and they end up working with someone that they probably shouldn't have worked with, that ended up zapping the time or just adding a load of stress to the life.
Oh yeah.
It's not worth it.
I've been there, done that, worked with quite a few of them.
Yeah.
And like I said, we're in a very fortunate position that now we've moved away from that to some degree. Obviously, it's still going to come up at some point, but now it's about trying to get the bigger clients and the better clients.
And who is your ideal avatar then? If you were to box that up and go, that's who I want.
Well, we're property based, right? So we specialize in the property industry, and there's quite a few different, I guess, types of property client. In the short answer, it would be property developers, because we can help them in multiple areas. We can help them on their business front, so help them to position themselves properly, to scale up in their growth. You know, what a lot of developers will do, they'll start out fairly small and scale up. And their time and their effort is really spent on the developments.
Yeah.
And they completely neglect their business, or they are needing to scale, but they've run out of money. So they need to attract investors. They don't know about marketing. They probably don't even have much interest in marketing or branding. So we help them to really elevate to the positioning that they're operating at, and they need to be seen at as well. And then helping to create various marketing strategies for attracting investors, for nurturing their contacts, producing various marketing materials for all of their key stakeholders on the business side. But the other side is helping them on what they're delivering, which is their schemes, their homes, their new build flats.
It's the credibility piece, isn't it?
Credibility piece on their business, but it's actually sales and marketing on their developments.
But you still want that credibility piece. If I was buying a new house, for example, and I was buying from Red Row or John Smith's developments, do you know what I mean? Like, Red Row got that credibility. If John Smith's development didn't have a website, it was like, is he going to rebuild this right?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so in like a sales brochure, we will put, delivered by X developer.
And I think that developers neglect that so much, like that whole exit piece. If you're selling it, you need your hoardings up like straight away. Like you need a landing page where people, a QR code on your boards outside your house, in my opinion, scanning it, registering your interest, gathering that data.
I mean, brand awareness from launching the scheme is so powerful, because that's going to be up for 6, 12, 18 months.
Yeah.
And launching the brand to allow people to know what's coming is so powerful. That consistent messaging, that subconscious awareness of what's coming, either for themselves or someone that they may know might be interested in it. Those multiple touch points just add up to being aware of it, gaining more interest, and maybe coming to a point where they're keen to inquire. So we'll typically do a soft launch of a new development, and then at a certain point before completion of the development, we'll do a much harder push. So that could be ad campaigns, could be some PR in the local area, really then generating more inquiries, more traffic for the sales agent to then obviously show them around or close them.
I think you don't need to give me averages, but if you can, what would be an average cost for a brand design of a project? And the reason I asked that question is because if you're going to tell me that that's $2,000, $3,000, whatever it is, if you can save one sale on that instead of going to an agent, it's paid for itself, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Because the most expensive part of the project is at the very end, when all of the finance will be drawn out and they're stuck not being able to sell them if obviously the marketing's not been too well. So depending on the size of the scheme will dictate the cost of the finance. But I'll give you an example of a client that we generated an incredible return on investment. So the scheme was just 4 luxury homes, and through positioning, through value proposition, through all of the marketing materials, through the branding, everything that we produced, we're able to generate inquiries of reservations and completed on sales of all 4 months before completion. And it increased GDV of £250,000. So not only did he reduce risk and cost at the very end, he actually increased his profits dramatically. Now that lender will only lend to that developer if they work with us on the brand and marketing, because they see it as a risk if they don't do it. And that's where a lot of developers really fall down, is that they don't think about this sort of stuff. They focus purely on the build, the cost of the build, and they'll try and save a % here or there on maybe a cheaper material or reducing the spec of the kitchen, when actually there is research to show that you can increase the GDV by up to 11% through brand and marketing alone. So if you can increase that, plus also mitigate risk, for one, it's an absolute no-brainer, but also it's just a way to make more profit, make the lender happy, make the sales, process easier. And that's what the best developers are doing, but a lot of people just completely overlook it.
Yeah, I think the younger developers looking into it more. I think they're more conscious. The older developer, I think, are stuck in the ways a little bit, and you're right, it is seen as an extra cost. And I think we've spoken about this separately. I think part of the issue that you have, that I see from the outside, is that developers are getting squeezed so much that branding is seen as a luxury. What would you say to people that think that the branding is a luxury on either your personal brand or your business brand or even a specific development?
I think it's naive to think that. I think it's complete oversight. And I think if they just took a second to think about everything they're interacting with in everyday life and the power that branding will have on products, services, everything. It's like just, I don't know what it would be like. It's like sort of cutting your nose off to spite your face in a way, because it will just cost a lot more money from not investing in the branding to begin with. And it's not just me saying that. I mean, we've had hundreds of use cases, and we have spoken to thousands of property developers, people that were either interested, decided not to go ahead, and look back at them and, maybe not much has progressed on their side, to successful case studies that we've got, to also observing the industry and seeing what is doing well, seeing why people or developers or business owners are scaling up through thinking about the reader or the viewer or the buyer. Because if you think about the buyer first, before yourself, that's what will make you successful.
Yeah.
Same thing with everything.
What does my buyer want? And we'll sell that to them.
Yeah. Because most developers are selling a building, whereas the best developers are selling a lifestyle. And that's what branding can do. It can visualize, it can resonate, it can connect, it can make you feel something. Whereas if you're selling a nice 2-bed house that's 100 square meters, you're selling a building that's just bricks and mortar. Whereas if you're selling a lifestyle, you're allowing someone to visualize themselves living there, bringing their family up, the whole experience of driving into the driveway, of being in the kitchen or the heart of the home. You're not selling the spec of the kitchen, you're selling the entire package. Yeah.
So in terms of the actual business, you don't need to divulge exact numbers if you don't feel comfortable, but what scale is the business currently at, and where do you want it to get to?
Over the last 7 years, we started small. So year one was very, very small. And every year we've been growing.
What did you do year one, if you don't mind?
Year one did around about 28 grand.
Yeah, nice.
And for me,
it's just so you can see how far you've come, that's all.
Yeah. I mean, that for me, that was good, because I think, earning around that in a job.
Yeah.
So to do that on my own, from a concept that I thought I'd see if it would work, for me that was amazing, and I thought I'd made it. I remember my first ever deal that I did. It was £110 logo, and that actually was the best feeling that I've ever got from getting, because it now is proof that it works. Someone's interested. And it means I'm earning on this new business idea that I've got. I had 6 months to make the business work, from the time I got made redundant to having to go back out and get a job again. So I had 6 months, and I think this was probably month number 3. Just constantly chasing, constantly struggling.
How did you win that business? Where did you find them? How did you convert them?
So that was from a networking event. Being obviously obsessed with property, networking like crazy, meeting as many people as possible. That was from someone who understood, or I don't even know if he was just giving me a try because he probably knew I was desperate at that point.
This guy just keeps speaking to me at every event. Just leave me alone.
Yeah. No, so he was at a networking event, and what happened prior to that is I was doing logos for friends in property, and I think they saw what I did for this other guy and how he went from free properties, rent-to-rent properties, free properties to 12 in a very short space of time. So he said, yeah, let's do a logo. And that was 3 months in. But then we quickly scaled up from there. And I thought, that's big. And then we've been doing about 50% year-on-year growth ever since. That's what the projections are this year again as well.
Yeah.
So.
And this is year 5.
This is coming to year 7.
Year 7. Okay.
Yeah, so 6 and a bit years. Okay. Yeah.
The reason I asked that question then, just the second part of that question is we had a guest earlier and we said the same thing about, I asked him like where he got his first customer, and it was the same thing. It was like knocking on doors and just being persevering. Like it's not going to fall in your lap. I think Facebook and Google ads have the place, but I think there's something really overlooked still by a lot of business owners of knocking on that doors. Like, do you still go to networking events and stuff now?
I do, but
not as many as you should is probably
only
the answer,
when I speak at them.
Yeah.
Which probably makes you sound probably a bit.
I understand.
But again, we're in a fortunate position. I've done my hard time there. There was a time when I was probably doing every single night in the week.
Yeah,
I was doing daytime ones, breakfast ones. I was then jumping on to online webinars. So I'd done my hard mile there. And now through the reputation that we've got, through the network that I've got, we are in a fortunate position where we're able to...
Stuff comes to
us, as well as then we've got ads going out. We've got various events that we're at. And when I do a keynote talk at an event, then naturally it's a great opportunity to meet people there as well. So I haven't done that many networking events recently, but if there's a new event, then I will.
But for someone getting started, I guess is the point to that, like, don't overlook the fact that if your back's against the wall, that is a really strong place to start to get customers, isn't it? Just boots on the ground, door knock, do whatever you need to do, just be relentless, and you'll win the business.
100%.
Because it's going to be in a world of AI as well, I think, in a world of AI and digital approach, someone picking up the phone to you is going to be really unique, in my opinion.
Yep.
Which is why I want our business to maintain those touch points and make sure that when we are sending emails out, we're then also phoning. Hi, Mrs. Jones, did you receive our quote? Is everything all right with it? We can get there on Tuesday. Is that okay? That's going to become, I believe, really unique to do in this world. Most people don't like answering the phone. You've probably experienced it with younger new starters. They just don't like generalizing. Yeah. They don't like the phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No one really likes to make a phone call. They'll happily just send a WhatsApp.
Yeah. Or an email, hide behind a screen.
It is easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas that extra bit of effort, and that's where older traditional marketing strategy is actually quite effective.
I agree.
I had a meeting yesterday, and we're coming up with ideas of how we can get in with the CEOs and the real decision makers in like the very center of the entire company. And it was more physical mail.
Yeah.
Creating a package that just looked amazing, and that would get through the doors a bit easier than sending an email that would be stuck by 4 assistants.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think...
Or in spam,
yeah. But yeah, so physical, in-person, calling, knocking doors, meeting, I think they're going to be more effective because that's stuff that AI can't do.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And where do you want the business to get to? Like, do you have a visions of exiting this thing or acquiring new things? Like, where do you want to go?
If you asked me last year, I'd have said to get rid of it. No.
I think you did when we spoke.
I mean, sometimes I wake up like that and I'm like, this is hard, this is tough. And now let's just get out of it.
Yeah. I think I remember a phone call we had and you said to me, I think you said something like, do you ever just want to give up?
Yeah.
Do you ever just want to just sack it off and get rid of it? And I'm like, yeah, all the time.
But then the next day, something good will happen.
Yeah,
and you love it again.
Mm-hmm. Someone will pay your invoice and you get that dopamine rush when you bank. When the app comes through. Yeah.
No, but the plan. So what is the plan? At the moment, it's focusing on growth, focusing on pivoting to adapt to AI, to new trend, to new strategies.
Yeah.
Seeing where things are working, we're not working. Really enjoying the growth phase at the moment. The new challenges that come up there, I'm enjoying all of that. So I have no idea to exit any point soon, because I think it's exciting at the moment. I think there's a lot of opportunity, especially in the UK as well as overseas. I think for what we do, property branding, over in Dubai or the UAE, I think there's a huge opportunity there, because that bodes perfectly into all of the new units that are being delivered over there. Because that value, that experience, that whole vision, that branding will massively play a part in their sales.
Yeah.
And we do have plans of growth to be over there.
Nice.
And just continue to grow in the UK. I think with AI, it's very easy to be scared by it and think my business is done. But if you think like that, then you will be. However, if you learn it, understand it, work out how you can utilize it, add more value, benefit, get better results, I think that's where you can ride the wave. And in the creative industry, although AI, and I'm saying AI as, like Claude or all these different platforms, although AI can generate a website, it can produce a logo, it can write copy to put in a presentation, it isn't there yet. And it's only regurgitating what it has information behind it.
Yeah. It's just an equation, isn't it?
Yeah. It hasn't got the same power that humans have got of vision, of having a feeling when it comes to design and style. It will be able to just knock out something real quickly. And it will work for some. If people are starting out, it's a great place to start.
Yeah.
But people who are actually putting together a proper business or scaling up a business, then you can't beat human ability when it comes to vision or feeling or style. That's why performing arts, they're safe, because you can't have a robot giving you the same enjoyment factor if you're watching them act or sing and dance in theatre.
Do you know what else is safe? Compliance. That's why I chose it.
Safest. Yeah.
One of the safe, yeah. Did you listen to The Ground Up?
Yeah.
They talk on there, don't they, about moving atoms. So anything where you're moving atoms, doing things.
Yeah.
It's safe for now. Until Elon sorts his robots out anyway.
Yeah.
Would you get a robot?
I would.
I'd get a robot.
I would.
Would you be an early adopter? Would you be like first off the line? Well, 25 grand.
I've only just got an EV car.
Okay.
So I'm early-ish to some degree, although it's been around for years.
Yeah.
I think I'll have to see.
Just in time for the government to tax you on them.
Exactly, yeah. Stupidity, probably, yeah. I'll probably see like 4 out of 10 people get them and I'll jump shit.
Yeah. I think I would. I think I'd be one of the first ones.
Really?
Yeah. For the price of a car, to do all your chores at home, to get your missus off your back. I'd love to do that.
It would be good though, but then also, what role do humans have? If there's no jobs out there, if you're not actually doing anything in terms of adding to like your house, you're just sitting there doing nothing.
Not for people like us, because I think we would use the time effectively.
Yeah.
I think most of the population would fester, and that's why they're getting conspiratorial, but that's why I think most people end up on universal credit in future and will be in a government that controls you and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I think people like us will always be fine because we'll just adapt and evolve and find the next thing or use the free time we've got to win more business or play more golf or whatever.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I asked one of the guests before, would you have a chip in your brain?
What does the chip do?
Well, it's the Neuralink stuff, isn't it? Like, in my head, I don't actually know what the Neuralink thing does, but in my head, I'm thinking like I would have something in my head where when I think about something, it does it. So I sit there and go, send an email to Oliver, and it sends it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But then you have to think about what you'd write in it as well.
Yeah.
And I guess it could learn as well.
Yeah, but you'd be quick, like, because when you think of it, I've got to send Oliver an email. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Lunch is on you.
Yeah.
So. It's panicked now, isn't it?
Because
we're going for lunch, yeah.
Yeah.
I can hear your stomach rumbling as well as mine.
Yeah.
Guess before you was like that as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Maybe we need to get some little snacks on it.
You need some snacks outside.
Yeah. So would you get a chip in your brain?
Probably, but I'd need to know what it did properly before just going, yeah, that sounds fine.
Yeah, I'll get it to send me emails.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you can't move your own limbs.
Yeah. And then Elon's just like sending you up to Mars and...
I trust Elon though. I don't know him, but I think I trust him. Of all the people in power, I think I trust Elon.
I don't know. It looks a bit dodgy to me.
He just looks dodgy.
There's nothing to back. I mean, he can't be just purely wanting to be as sustainable as possible and put everyone on Mars and just save everyone and everything.
You don't think? And maybe I'm being naive. I think he genuinely cares about humanity.
He doesn't really care about money, does he? I think he's worth 850 billion now.
Is that what he's worth now?
Yeah.
Jesus. Is there any? Will he be the first trillionaire?
He will be, yeah.
Jesus.
Apparently, I saw a stat where he's got 0.01% just in the bank. Just if.
I read his book.
That's 850 million.
Jesus. I read his book and it was a biography with that Walter Isaacson, I think.
Yeah.
And when he sold PayPal, he literally ploughed all that money back into SpaceX and then had to loan money for rent.
Yeah, he lived on someone's sofa.
Yeah.
It was, I'm going to butcher these numbers, but it was something like he sold it for 25 million. He put 5 million into SpaceX, 20 into Tesla, and then nothing left.
Yeah, whatever it was. Yeah. But that's why when I look at things, I think people like that just deserve it, don't they? Like you've literally bet your chips.
Talking about deserve it, a great quote that I heard from Stuart at Ground Up in terms of Bitcoin.
I knew you were going to say Bitcoin.
Yeah. Especially with Stuart.
Yeah.
Stuart Wyeth. Is he says whatever price you buy Bitcoin at is what the price you deserve.
Yeah.
So the people that went in there when it was like $10, they deserve that because they knew it. Either understood it or they knew it, and they took the action to do it.
Yeah.
And then the people that buy it at 90,000 and it crumbles down to 60, they're just buying because of the hype.
Yeah. Well, they say, don't they, that him and Ryan say whatever they buy it at now, they're just buying it at a discount.
Yeah.
That's the way they look at it.
Yeah. Cost dollar average in to buy it every month, and then you buy it on the way down or up. Do you invest in crypto?
I had about $2,500 in it and then got frauded off.
Frauded off? Or someone stole it?
Yeah. I had it in a Coinbase.
I remember you saying actually,
Yeah, I had it in Coinbase and somewhat's dodgy with that. Like literally someone just got into my account. There was a 2-factor authentication that was bypassed any IP addresses. And $2,500 just went missing and Coinbase were absolutely useless. Just said it was my responsibility to protect my account.
Really?
And I was like, but can you explain why there's been a 2FA authorization pass at the same time as my 2FA authorization pass with no IP address and no location. That's not normal.
Yeah.
And they just ignored my emails. I even sent an access data request, like a GDPR thing. Said, can you send me everything you've got on me? I sent it twice and still didn't respond.
Really? At least a bitter feel, doesn't it?
Yeah. So now I've not invested anymore, but I feel that was all I had. But now I know I should, but now I'm like, I don't want to.
Use Binance instead.
Yeah, but I won't be using Coinbase again. But if you go into Coinbase's Trustpilot, there's a plethora of 1-star reviews with the same story as me.
Really?
So
yeah,
look into that however you want. But I think somewhat that's not a coincidence, I don't think.
No. They say it's best to put it on a wallet, isn't it? Card wallet.
Yeah. My mistake was that I should have had it offline.
Yeah.
On a USB stick or whatever. But I just didn't really understand it. I just bought it because people told me to buy it, so I bought it.
Do you know what price you got in at?
40,000, I think.
Okay.
Probably.
Should have like doubled it.
It's a bit down now, isn't it? It's about 60,000 now.
Last time I looked was last week. I think it's about 65.
Was it? Yeah, it was about 2 years ago. I'm sure it was about 40,000. Because I got frauded 2.5, but I think I only put in 1,800, something like that.
Well, so someone took out more than you put in?
No, because obviously it had gone up in the 2 years, hadn't it?
Ah, got it.
So I'd put in like 1,800, 2 grand, whatever, and it was 2.5-ish by the time it disappeared. So.
Frustrating.
Yeah. But yeah, what's your chatbot of choice? You mentioned before Claude. Do you use anything else? Is there anything specifically good in your sector for?
Yeah, we've created our own one.
Nice. Replit.
No. So we work with an AI developer.
Nice.
And we've trained it to know us really well, know our sort of like client segments. And we're using that for quite a bit on our website on various assets that we can create. We used Tidio before, which is like an integration into websites. That wasn't that great.
I don't think I've heard of it.
But they're just getting smarter and smarter now.
Yeah.
And you can actually integrate it into like WhatsApp or messages.
Have you ever looked at OpenClaw yet?
I haven't actually.
I heard it on the ground up the other day and I need to look at it. Apparently it embeds in your laptop. So it understands everything.
Really?
Yeah. Which is scary and
yeah. You've sort of got to let go at some point.
Yeah. It depends how conspiratorial you are. Like, am I that bothered about people looking into my data? I'm not. I don't know. Not doing anything wrong. So
yeah, I think you've semi have to let go because it's just going to take over.
Yeah.
And if there's ways of hacking, I think there's already exists in a way. You know, like data, for example.
Yeah.
It's so easy to just find data now.
Yeah.
And then you only need 3 bits of information to fully hack you anyway. Your passport, your address.
Don't need anything to get to Coinbase, apparently.
Yeah.
I'm not bitter about it. But. So do you want to do any acquisitions or anything? Like with
business acquisitions?
Yeah, like we obviously went to that event, but
yeah.
Are you actually looking at stuff? And what would you
I'm
look
not
at?
actually looking at anything at the moment. As an entrepreneur, obviously, a million ideas and I want to buy everything.
Mm-hmm.
But there's time, there's focus, and there's current plans.
Yeah.
I heard a great podcast at the end of the year, whereas if you pick something up, you've almost got to put something down.
Yeah.
You can't just keep picking up all the balls because at some point you're going to drop some.
Yeah.
So I was very aware of that this year. And because we were focused on growth, focused on these other areas of expansion, as well as my property business as well, if I was to buy the 2 businesses I wanted to, then it would have meant that I would have just completely neglected the others and they wouldn't have done as well.
Unless you're looking at businesses, the wrong businesses that aren't at the right scale for you.
Yeah.
Like you obviously want to buy something that, they said it on that event, didn't they? You don't want to buy a to-do list.
Yeah. I think it would help, but I think you just got to almost take a leap of faith in, where if you haven't done it before, buying a £1 million plus business is scary. And it comes with a lot of potential risks. And I think that those potential risks is the piece that is almost the most scary because there's so many unknowns.
Yeah.
And if you don't know the business well, you don't know the process of buying a business well, then you can uncover just so much crap under the rug. A friend of mine bought a business and he said it's the worst thing he's ever done.
Really?
Because he wasn't aware of all these additional costs, all these hidden fees. And with his warehouse that he's got, the guy who managed the warehouse held him hostage.
Right.
Because
literally.
Yeah. Because he wasn't paid up and he wasn't aware of that.
Right.
And then some sort of mafia guy came in and
Jesus.
yeah. So it's quite scary, but he wasn't aware of that. And if you buy a business, then there could be some areas that you're not aware of if you don't go through the full process properly.
Yeah. We're going through the process now, so.
You're buying?
Hopefully.
Nice. What sort of business?
Asbestos and Legionella. So hopefully we lost it in August and he's come back to the table in Feb.
Just from following up?
Yeah. So quick fire questions now to wrap up, if that's okay.
Yep.
What book are you reading at the moment? Book or podcast or?
It must be my ADHD, but I'm currently reading like 4.
Right, that's nuts, by the way.
Yeah. In terms of podcasts, I go between Modern Wisdom, listen to that quite a lot. I keep an eye on Diary of a CEO.
Guest dependent.
But very rarely listen to it because it's now just a health podcast and they're all just headline driven.
Yep, I agree.
Only when there's a business podcast or guest on, I'll listen to that. I listen to the FT news every morning on the way from the gym. And I only ever read, like, I never know which is the right way, non-fiction or fiction, basically learning books. Yeah. I won't read like Harry Potter.
Non-fiction? Yeah, non-fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be a combination of marketing, of business, of biography.
What's your favourite ever book?
I genuinely do think it's Rich Dad Poor Dad, and the only reason is because that genuinely changed my life.
Yeah. That was the first one for me as well.
Yeah. It's put on my favourite book in terms of the story or how it's written, but
it was the gateway, wasn't it?
It's the complete gateway.
Yeah. If you could own any business in the world, what would it be and why?
I would own something around travel.
Okay.
I absolutely love travel, seeing new places, new experiences. And if I could make money from doing that.
What's your own Emirates?
Like an airline.
Yeah.
No, I'm thinking sort of not like a travel operator. I had an idea when I was traveling about 10 years ago, an idea that I would love to own a scuba diving shop that had like a bar or restaurant attached to it. And a gym as well. So it's like a bit of a lifestyle thing. People would scuba dive, they would chill out there all day. There'd be like nice like hammocks, there'd be a bit of music. They can drink a smoothie, go to the gym. In the evening, there would be like live music, etc. And live on the beach, have that sort of lifestyle.
Nice. Go
scuba diving.
Proper hippie vibes.
It's quite hippie, isn't it? And then in the winter, go skiing.
Nice.
Have a similar sort of thing skiing.
Yeah, nice. If you could go back to any time in the world ever, where would you go? I've only got 2 minutes left.
Any time, Jesus. What did you say?
The pyramids.
Why?
How did they build them? I want to know who built them. Simple for me. I just want to know who built the pyramids. Or when Bitcoin was like $10. That'd be pretty good.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah. I do think like 100 years ago, when life was just simple and there was no phones around, it was probably, well, it would have been pre-war. It just looks nice, doesn't it? Like life looked more fun.
You want to live in the 60s, what you're telling me?
No, probably like the 1910 in America. I don't know why America, but for the movies it looked good.
Was there a war in 1910?
14
it started.
Yeah, because I think now it's just like, it's just rush, isn't it? Rush.
Yeah.
Whereas back then there was no phones. You could just connect with people. Yeah. And everyone was more present.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming. If you want to sell your services to anyone wants to come to you for a non-AI logo, where do they find you?
Yeah, so my business is property branding, and you can find us online, propertybranding.co.uk. Instagram, we're at property branding. And if you wanted to follow me personally, it's at oliverjames.pb. We have just released a new product, which is super exciting. It's called the Investor Stream, and it's focused for all property businesses. It's the opportunity, is a way of understanding, implementing, and building the framework to attract investors. And that's obviously great for property businesses, but it's great for all businesses. And we've got the track record, the case studies, and the proof of unbelievable successes in helping our clients in the investor stream and also property branding to raise over typically £250,000 in about 3 months.
Nice.
And it's about building the right framework, about positioning, about the right marketing materials, the right marketing strategies, understanding the psychology of investors. And we launched we launched about 2 years ago, stopped it and brought it back in February. So It's only just relaunched. So the first cohort is going on now. And we're going to be doing the second cohort in Q2. So if anyone is interested, then join the waitlist. But super excited about that. That is the Investor Stream.
Cool. Nice one. Thank you so much for coming, Ollie. Let's go and grab some lunch.
Looking forward to it.
See you later. I just find that property is very difficult to make money when it's your only source of income.
Yes, there's a lot of property education out there, which I think is a big money making. You're going to be a millionaire in, a
7
week.
days.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with people having dreams, but I think it needs to be a realistic dream, and people understand the stress and the risk that you're taking and how horribly wrong it can go if you get it wrong, isn't it? It is all about, and you need that business side of it. I think you need to be able to manage your cash flow. You need to be able to find